Close your eyes. Well, he wanted a girl, and he teased, if you have a boy, I'm sending you back to the country. He was a consummate tease, while she was far more earnest. Opposites being as they were match made in heaven, and just before Christmas, the couple became a family. Red ribbon on my head, temporarily disappointing Dad in sending Mom into the deepest state of joy. I was the first child, the newest challenge. When I was a toddler, Mom fastened bells to my shoes. When the bells stopped ringing, Mom would start singing, "Billy, where are you?" It was more than once that I complicated the search by falling asleep in a low cabinet or a closet. When I was 4, I started kindergarten. It was a few blocks from home, and I walked it alone every day. I brought home painted papers and crafts made of clay and wood. "Let me see." Mom reached out for my masterpieces. Each one came with a proud description. "This one's blue, Mom's favorite color. This one's yellow and red," and I described everything with the greatest detail, and it felt great to show Mom and make her smile. "Oh, Billy," she would say, and I know it warmed her heart. When I was 4, my sister was born, Elizabeth Ann. Mom would say Dad was finally happy. I remember Mom singing harmony with Dad. I remember her whistling like a songbird. She told very few stories about growing up in upstate Pennsylvania. But one that was that her family was Hungarian, and the neighbors would call them gypsies. She despised being called a gypsy, and I avoided the word like it was a curse. Derogatory names for people weren't heard in our house. We listened to the radio most of the time, talk radio, news, country, but mostly Bible radio at Boyertown. Mom and Dad competed to solve the daily Bible quizzes. Boyertown had readings, stories, sermons, and songs. Her favorite songs were "Amazing Grace" and "How Great Thou Art." Mom almost seemed to shudder when they played, and I can't listen to them today without shedding a tear. When I started 5th grade, we started living in a housing project. There were no other options because no one would rent to us. Behind our house, down the hill, was a large creek. It was the biggest yard a kid could have. Calling us home for supper had become more of a challenge, so Mom learned to whistle loud. She practiced for weeks, 2 pinkies on either side of her mouth, until one day she had it down. I admired her determination. When she started whistling, it was undeniably Mom, and there was no excuse anymore, only distance to cover to get in quickly. Mom had her idioms and warnings. Some common ones were, when you eat, you eat. When you play, you play. When you work, you work. Hooray, hooray. Yes, there would be no shenanigans at the kitchen table. "Look at these gray hairs you're giving me," as she tugged on the strands, her strands as she called them. She said it even when there was no gray hair to be found in her black curls. But I felt responsible for most of them when they started arriving. "I'm going out and eat worms." It was a verse from the song "Nobody Likes Me." And Mom used the phrase freely when we needed to lighten up. We must have been really uptight. When things weren't going our way, worms were the way to go. "You have eyes, but you can't see." My sister had the eagle eye. Not me so much. I always wanted one. I'm going out and eat worms. Don't laugh at people with a handicap, because that could be you. That could be you. That could be you. There's never been a day in my life that has gone by without those words repeating in my head since I was a very young boy. Have you kept your eyes closed? If you're looking at me, then you've seen more of me than my mom ever did. Mom lost her sight when she was about 14. She met my dad after graduating from Overbrook School for the Blind. Dad was a fellow graduate. He was blind from birth. They were determined together to have a normal life, and they quite incredibly succeeded. Our family life was different. And in many ways, but like most of you, I still had the best mom in the world, encouraging us to be better, praying unceasingly for our souls and our lives, applauding our success, warning us of the dangers, and teaching us to love and trust in God. She has been my most valued counselor, spiritual guide, and mentor. I counted on her for so much, but I thought of us as a team. I missed hugging her and being her guide, her color checker, her reader, her son, and her Billy. Mom loved me unconditionally, sight unseen. Now wait. One thing Mom and Dad would not condone would be to look for sympathy or cause sadness or distress. If that's what you're feeling, then turn that feeling right around and instead celebrate with me the incredible tenacity that led to my mom and dad's achievements every moment of every day of my life, of their lives. My sister and I feel blessed. We hope you feel inspired.